In the month of September, Volkswagen Group, its sales have absolutely collapsed in Europe. I'm shocked by these numbers. No one has reported on these. They've only just come out, but these figures are truly staggering, and it confirms what the Volkswagen Group themselves have said. But what we didn't know was this. We didn't know that customers had been cancelling orders and buying Tesla vehicles instead. Why are they doing this? I can't tell you the answer for sure, but it is definitely happening. Based on what the media have been telling us, you would think electric cars are just not selling. No, that's false. Here are the actual electric car sales in Europe in the month of September, the 10 best selling, and they show an interesting picture, and that is one of growth. In fact, EV sales were approximately 23% of all vehicles in Europe last month. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to all the new subscribers. And by the way, if you'd like to support us on Patreon, I'll put a link in the description below. Anyway, getting to the point here, that is EV sales, for some companies, they're not going as well as they had planned, but others are doing very well. Now, in September, EVs grew by 15%. 288,000 plug-in vehicles were registered in that month, meaning the market grew by double digits, plus 15%. Clean Technica says that last month's plug-in vehicle share of the overall European auto market was 25%, 17% fully electric, and the rest of them were plug-in hybrids. So the result for the full year for fully electric vehicles across all of Europe is 16%. Fully electric, 16%. The result for September was 17%. So clearly, that's not massive growth in terms of EV sales in September versus previous months this year, but it's definitely growth. It's not a slowdown that the media is reporting on. Anyway, most of these EV sales were coming from a couple of companies. And the interesting thing is here that one of the biggest Chinese EV manufacturers has begun growing very, very quickly. But plug-in hybrid sales, they're slowing. And the interesting thing is here that EVs are representing more and more of plug-in sales as every month goes by. In fact, of all electrified vehicles sold in Europe in September, nearly 70% were fully electric, and with the remainder, they were plug-in hybrids. The best-selling vehicle in September across all of Europe was the Tesla Model Y. In fact, the Tesla Model Y completely eviscerated the entire market. Its leadership is so staggering, it almost looks unfair. Realistically, look at this chart that Clean Technica have put together. These numbers are just truly staggering. 34,378 sales. So let's just say 34,400 sales for the Model Y. In second place, 7,500. The gap is so astronomically large here, it's sort of hard for me to understand how this can be possible, but it is. Of course, Tesla is very much helped by the fact they have a massive factory in Germany that produces just the Model Y. But that factory will, within a couple of years, also be producing the cheapest EV Tesla has ever made, the €25,000 Tesla Model 2. Don't have to be called a Model 2, but that's what I call it just to simplify it. Today, Elon Musk announced the Model 2 will be built in that factory in Berlin, in Germany. So that's probably got some of the automakers in Germany, or in Europe at least, a little bit concerned at this point in time. Tesla does have approval for this vehicle. They have approval to build the factory now. It's been granted. All the protesters, all the campaigns that were going on, the court cases that were going on to try and prevent Tesla from building that extension to the factory, they've all been quashed. So that factory will go ahead. Tesla will double the size of the factory in Germany in order to build their most affordable vehicle, the Model 2. Second place was the Chinese-made MG4. The MG4 is made by SAIC in China, which is owned primarily by the Chinese government and Alibaba. So that's the second best-selling EV in September across all of Europe. Third place, very close behind, was the Skoda Enyaq. Now, I made a video about the Skoda Enyaq. The second generation model will be so much better than the current generation model, according to Volkswagen Group, or according to Skoda themselves. It will be able to charge its batteries in 12 minutes, and it will have approximately 500 miles of range in its longest range variant. So that's pretty cool. If that's true, I hope it is. I made a video about that, by the way, if you want to check that one out. I'll put a link in the description. Fourth place, the fourth best-selling EV was quite a surprising result. I'm still really amazed by the success of the Q4 e-tron. The Q4 e-tron, 6,867 deliveries. Fifth place was the Peugeot 308 EV with 6,582 deliveries. That was followed by the Fiat 500e with 6,105 deliveries. So Fiat sliding a little bit. Usually the 500e is up closer in the top 3, top 5, but it's fallen now to 6th place. The Volkswagen ID4 was next with 5,792 sales. Volvo C40, the electric version, had 4,384 deliveries, followed by the Kia Niro, which had 4,329 deliveries. Now, Europe's cheapest EV at the present time, that's a proper car, not a quadricycle, is the Dacia Spring. That was in 11th place. It had 4,860 deliveries. The Mercedes EQA. This is obviously Mercedes' best-selling EV at the moment in Europe. The EQA, 4,588 deliveries. The Volkswagen ID3, 4,141. The Cupra Born was in 14th place with 4,000 deliveries. Mercedes GLC plug-in hybrid was next in 15th place. The Opel Corsa EV had 3,900 deliveries. The BMW iX1 was BMW's best-selling EV with 3,844. So surprising to see BMW sales in Europe really very small in comparison to what BMW sales have been lately in the United States. Now, this is the big shock here in this list. The Tesla Model 3, 18th place, 3,700 deliveries, 18th place. I mean, that's quite a surprise, or is it? Well, I don't think it really is a surprise. The new version of the Model 3 just arrived, apparently within the last week in Europe to a number of different countries. I believe that that will give a big boost to Tesla's deliveries of the Model 3 in Europe. And there's been a lot of very, very positive reviews. I'm saying they believe that's a really good, massive improvement to the Model 3. So I think that Tesla might get a little boost here. Model 3 could even overtake Tesla Model Y sales over the next couple of months. That's possible. And that could be partly because of Tesla delaying deliveries, customers waiting for the new version of the Model 3. So I think they're going to get a really good car, and that word of mouth could help Tesla. The reviews have been very positive for the Model 3. Of course, the big numbers here, though, the big thing here that surprised me, though, was Tesla versus the Volkswagen Group. The Volkswagen Group sales have dropped off significantly. They have said it themselves. They've said that their back orders have shrunk massively. They've actually basically paused some entire production lines of EVs. And you can see that in the delivery numbers here. I didn't think those effects would happen until probably later on this year, but clearly they have here. Normally the ID4 is the second best-selling or the third best-selling EV. The ID3 as well is up there generally in the top 5. But as you can see, the ID4 and the ID3 are not in the top 5. Neither of them were. Very big surprise here. So Volkswagen Group is saying it's true. Their EVs are not selling that well. You can really see why. I think they're a bit expensive for what they are. They're cheaper to buy in the United States. Model Y, more than 4 times as many vehicles as the second best seller, the MG4. That is just, in my opinion, incredible. What an incredible number that was. For the 11th month in a row, Tesla's crossover was the best-selling EV in Europe. The 11th month in a row. It was the number 2 best-selling model 12 months ago. So 11 months in a row, it's achieved these results, which are just truly staggering. 34,400 reservations. Now, Clean Technica says this could be considered peak Model Y in Europe. Well, I'm not so sure, guys. The reason I say that, the Model Y has had some upgrades in China. Will those upgrades be reflected? Will those changes be made to the Model Y in the cars that are made in Germany? Of course, there's no way known Tesla won't make those same changes at some point over the next few months in Germany as well. So people in Europe are going to see that the Model Y is slightly better value for money. It's got a much more powerful motor. Of course, about 80% of Tesla's sales are the standard range model. That's the model that has the most changes in China. The motor has approximately 80 horsepower more, has a little bit more range. It has a few added features to the interior. They've gotten rid of the wooden dash. They replaced that with a more of a suede look. It's definitely a better car. It's no more expensive. In China, it's exactly the same price. Probably will be the same in Germany. So I don't believe Clean Technica is correct here. I believe that Model Y peak has not arrived yet. The other thing to keep in mind is Clearly, Tesla has been working now for about 18 months on Project Juniper. That is the Model Y upgrade, the mega upgrade, not the current upgrade in China, but the full upgrade, basically Model Y Highland. They're calling it Model Y Juniper. So that's going to be out within probably 6 months in Europe. And I think that's when we will see peak Model Y. What will those numbers be? Got no idea, but I think they're going to be very, very impressive. Why do I say that? I still believe it's very likely Tesla will be using the Gen 2 lithium iron phosphate batteries from CATL, which are way better than their current batteries, or potentially their actual Cheering battery or the LMFP battery. Now keep in mind, BYD are the company that supply Tesla with their battery packs in Europe. So BYD are also working on an LMFP battery, plus they have version 2.0 of the Blade battery coming soon. Either way, I think it's going to be quite a number of big changes that we haven't seen in the Model 3 Highland that will come to the Model Y Juniper, which will unquestionably boost sales. But guys, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think Model Y can keep up this run? I mean, 11 months in a row, best-selling vehicle in Europe, best-selling EV in Europe, sometimes a best-selling vehicle in Europe, period. Good chance it will actually end up being the best-selling vehicle in Europe for the entire year, period, regardless of vehicle type or drivetrain type. We don't know that for sure, but hopefully it is. That would be some good marketing for EVs, and that should increase EV uptake. Let me know what you think on that one. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.